आप बिजनेस करते हो तो आप 15% तो बनाओगे, 8-10% ही कमाना है तो म्यूचुअल फंड में या फिक्स डिपॉजिट कर लो. There are 7,000 companies listed in India. 95% companies are non-investable.
The trends that are going around like tariffs, de-globalisation, do you think these are really strong threats for our wealth building journey?
No, I
like
think
when you see Trump is tweeting and you're like, oh, I have to change something.
एक रमेश दमानी का बहुत अच्छा इंटरव्यू है where he talks about two big events which have shaped the world. One is the fall of Berlin Wall in 1989. It started globalization. And then he says it's 5th November 2024, election of Trump. It's a reverse of globalization, right? Nvidia is $5 trillion. It is 15% of US GDP. थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो रहा है.
If I give you like a corpus of 10 lakh rupees, how would you allocate it?
I think...
Hey, before you guys get into this, I wanted to announce that Pinshots TV is now a part of Zerodha's 01 network. Together, we plan on bringing you stories that impact your day-to-day lives, sometimes without you even realizing it. So do consider liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to our channel. Like you were talking a lot about AMCs and you were very bullish on them. So what are some funds, and you also invest in mutual funds. So what are some fund houses that are, favorable for you, and some fund managers whose work you really like?
See, I always say हम ना ये यहाँ भी near term returns देख के fund change करते रहते हैं, which is the biggest mistake. Now, 2021 HDFC FlexiCap was the worst performer. Because Prashant Jain was very early into PSUs, defense, steel companies, etc. And he actually fund underperformed for almost 2-3 years. Today it is the best performing fund. Right? So I always say that incorporate different styles in the portfolio. So one is obviously use filters like risk-adjusted return, Sharpe ratio, fund which is generating alpha meaningfully over a period of time. So those things are important, hygiene. But do not forget have different styles in the portfolio. Some fund underperforming is a good sign because it's a sign you are diversified. So Madhu Kela sir, is my mentor, used to say कि train का आखिरी डब्बा नहीं हटा सकते आप. Engine can change, the last डब्बा can become the first one, right? Yeah. So let's say when interest rates are going up, we have seen that the value tends to do better. So suddenly if you see last 3-4 years when interest rates were going up, SBI Contra, Parag Parekh, ICICI Discovery, these are value-oriented themes. They were doing well. Now when interest rate starts coming down, suddenly the growth themes, Motilal has made such a strong comeback. They were very bullish on new age companies. And Motilal was doing very badly when interest rates were going up and the value style. So, performance is cyclical. Right? So do not just, in fact, I say if a fund manager, good fund manager is going through a lean cycle, actually that might be a good time to look at it. So have a combination. You are getting a Naren, a Prashant, a Harsha, a Harish Krishnan of Birla, all of these guys by paying 1-2% management fees. Right? So have different styles. Have a growth fund, have a couple of value funds. Look at fund managers with a lot of consistency, people who have seen 20 years in the market. Have a nice mix. Right? So I, for example, have growth-oriented funds also in my portfolio. Like I have Motilal Mid Cap. I have small cap funds, which I'm doing really for the long term. Then I also have a value theme like a Parag Parekh Flexi Cap and an ICICI Discovery. I also have a little bit of blended guys like Mirai who are both, maybe growth at reasonable price. So I have different styles in the portfolio, and at different point of time, different styles do well. And maybe 10% you should be outside India.
Got it.
So I was heavily into NASDAQ and S&P. Now I've started doing a little bit China.
Understood.
So about 10% I also do, I use the feeder fund route to do.
So Chinese markets didn't really do well for the past few decades, but do you think now that cycle?
Yeah, it's also diversification, low correlation. The market is still at 13 times there.
Yeah.
And I mean, you like it, don't like it. It is the new emerging superpower. They have last year made 2 lakh robots. US has made 34,000. And some of the things I think they are like a league ahead on tech, on manufacturing, on precision manufacturing.
Understood. So talking about globalization, the trends that are going around, like tariffs, de-globalisation, push for de-globalisation, etc. So, do you think these are really strong threats for our wealth building journey? Like, do these keep you up at night?
No, I
Like
think
when you see Trump is tweeting and you're like, oh, I have to change something.
one space I like, which is globalization, linked to globalization and will benefit from globalization and is a product of globalization, is basically aviation.
Oh, okay.
Right? So I think the Gen Z wants to travel a lot. In fact, RBI released the data of loans, unsecured loans. The highest reason for taking a loan was travel. 27% was travel.
Yeah.
So the young generation, doesn't mind paying 20,000 rupees a night to a good hotel. Traveling. So I think aerospace looks. So one is in terms of owning companies like I've been owning Indigo now Interglobe for a time. Also, what has happened is that the order backlog for Boeing, Airbus now is 10, 15 years. They did not anticipate such a strong demand post-COVID. So 10-12 साल का order backlog हो गया है aircrafts में, domestic aircraft में. So now they are looking at diversifying and getting. It's very difficult to get into the aerospace supply chain.
True.
एक part इतना important है. See, उसका order भी defined है. आज फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर बोइंग को एक एयरक्राफ्ट 2030 में देना है तो उसकी ऑर्डर भी डिफाइंड है, उसकी ओईएम्स भी डिफाइंड है, उसका ओईएम का वेंडर भी डिफाइंड है, उसका टाइमलाइन भी डिफाइंड है. सो वंस यू गेट इनटू दैट चेन यू मेक लॉट ऑफ money, right? So a lot of these guys are now outsourcing because it's such huge order lag. So a lot of Indian companies are now getting into those tier 2, tier 1 vendors.
But tell us a few names.
So for example, they may not ask you to make a hydraulic system or a gear landing system, but they may ask you to make blades, parts of turbine, heat exchanging solutions, fluid management, the tier 2 supplier. But if you show good quality and precision standards, you move up. So I think this sector is opening up. One space we are tracking, we haven't really invested much, is Azad Engineering.
Okay.
It's an expensive stock, but I like. So there's an industrial corridor coming up in Ghaziabad. If you get time, you should go and meet a lot of aerospace ancillaries coming up there. So I think this space will pick up because more and more Indian companies will start getting into it. But I don't worry much about too much. Obviously, FIs are redeeming and, these things have a short-term impact. See, we have short memories. Market गिरता रहता है किसी ना किसी reason से. So I think once the earnings come back, I think this should also be.
Understood. And what do you think about the earnings, coming to the earnings again? So like corporate earnings, do you think this down cycle is going to end soon?
Yeah, it looks like. So last year was bad when GDP print came at 5%. GFM quarter was 4-5% earning growth. Q1 was about 8-ish, 7.5-8% earning growth. ये बार लग रहा है शायद 9-10 आ जाएगा. So incrementally improvement हो रही है. And mind you, we had a very high base. 21 to 23, because of COVID, the earning growth was 25-30% because of the low base. So there's a bit of that also. I think maybe JFM onwards, ये वाला जो quarter है, आपको double digit earning growth आने लगेगा. And once that comes in, the PEG becomes less than 2. So PEG is price equity divided by earning growth. So if you're at 20 times earning and your earning growth is only 6-7, then you're at 3 PEG.
Yeah.
But if your earning growth becomes 12-14%, then it's 2 PEG, less than 2 PEG. Historically, even FIs come below 2 PEG. So to me, the bigger catalyst is not the trade deal. See, trade deal will be for a time period of time. Market may get a relief. For the rally to sustain, earnings has to come up. So I think just fast forward. If you are an investor, just fast forward. Say कि आप Holi tak, which is let's say March.
Yeah.
Will tariff deal be there? Very high chance India will have a
Deal.
tariff deal.
Yeah.
Will consumption get a boost because of GST cut? Yes, it will, because we have very strong festive season and uptake is pick up. Will interest rate be further lower? Chances are yes, therefore it will fall a lot. Will earning growth so I think all macro
Will
themes,
FIs come?
indicators, FIs भी आएंगे, कहाँ जाएंगे? And see, I think FIs also ना 3 category के हैं.
Okay.
एक है hedge funds, quant funds, वो relative opportunity देखते हैं, जल्दी पैसा कहाँ बनेगा. तो वो पैसा इंडिया से निकल के चाइना गया, कोरिया गया. Because India was expensive, China was 10p year back. Because India missed the bus on AI. We had technically no AI or semiconductor play. Now China is also up 40-50%. US is also up. And you are flat. So the relative attractiveness difference has come down.
Yeah.
Right? And आप earning growth दिखाओ तो I'm sure they will. And the second are arbitragers. The third is FDI, people who come with a long-term view, the people buying stake in RBL Bank, people setting up an OSAT facility with India, with Tata doing a tie-up with somebody, people in France like Safran wanting to do a tech transfer of fighter jet engines with India. Right? So there are some serious players also which are coming. So the third is intact. The first two is more based on momentum and they will also come back.
Hey guys, if you like our work at FinShots, do consider checking out Ditto. Ditto is our sister company and they are trying to make insurance simpler for people like you and me. If you're thinking of reviewing your insurance needs, why don't you book a free call with Ditto Insurance's IRDAI certified advisors? The link is in the description. So, do you talk a lot about the conglomerates in India, right? Like you have a very bullish view on, say, Geo, the ecosystem that they're building. So also you spoke about Tata some time ago. So I want to understand how, and they are also getting into these sectors where they're trying to innovate, etc. So the Tatas, the Reliance, Adani, Birlas of India. So do you think the stock price, there is some upside here, like say in the next decade or something in these
I think there are some very good groups. And I always look at people who are doing very focused capex. जो capex नहीं कर रहे हैं और सिर्फ mint कर रहे हैं, वो एक ना एक time बाद problem हो गया. IT services को problem शुरू हो गया. They were late in getting into AI, although they had the cash, right?
So Adani is so much in infrastructure capex, the amount of money they're spending. Like you spoke about Tata, how much they're trying to get into the supply chain. So they're not just doing manufacturing for iPhones, but also for the chips. I think.
So we like few groups. As you rightly said, Tata is one of them. We also like the Murugappa group. I mean, look at from CG Power to Tube Investments to, a Coromandel to, what CG Power was nothing, the way transformation. I got to know actually in Murugappa group, before a family member joins the company, an advisory board interviews him.
Okay.
So even family members are interviewed by an external agency to figure out which business. Right. So the little things tell you about, the ethics of the group, the ability of the group. Tata is another huge group. I also find some of the new age founders very interesting. The kind of work they are doing. I think, I don't know what will happen eventually with Eternal, but I think Deepinder Goyal has done a phenomenal job in, creating the ecosystem. There are a host of others. And there are certain groups who have never made money for investors.
Okay.
Right. So controversial, but you know that, for example, Aruyas or Anil Ambani groups and etc. So don't write off anything. But I'm saying in India, you are able to make a difference between good, average, and not so good promoters. Right. So I would say core portfolio, large part of the portfolio, sit with the good promoters. True. Right. There's one filter which Bharat Shah sir used to tell me. Return on capital employed and equity being 15%. आप बिजनेस करते हो तो आप 15% तो बनाओगे, 8-10% ही कमाना है तो म्यूचुअल फंड में या फिक्स डिपॉजिट कर लो. There are 7,000 companies listed in India. If you put a filter of return on capital employed, 15%, you'll be left with some 400 companies. So 95% companies are non-investable.
Makes sense, yeah.
Right? So if he's not even making 12-15%, see the short period, the return can change. Aap capex karte ho, return ratios can drop and all. I'm talking about a long period. And always look at promoters who are doing very focused capex. जैसे मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ, डिवीज ने लास्ट 4 साल में उतना कैपेक्स किया है जितना पिछले 40 साल में भी नहीं किया. I mean, today, if let's say a GLP-1 drug comes to India, which is the weight loss drug, Mounjaro and all. I mean, if they want to do outsourcing, I mean, और किसी के पास capacity नहीं है, right? Laurus, I mean, there are a lot of debate on Laurus. I'm taking pharma as an example. Laurus has 25% people in R&D and scientists. 5,000 लोगों की कंपनी है, 1,000-1,200 सिर्फ R&D में लोग हैं. किसी फार्मा कंपनी में, किसी और कंपनी में 25%. Please look at the R&D research focus. Right? Mankind Pharma has acquired a company of 13,000 crores, which is into women fertility and consumer healthcare. So look at companies who are thinking ahead, doing capex. The short-term impact may come because of the capex, but that capex, how will it contribute to the profit pool?
Understood.
I think that promoter groups you want to be in. You know, you talked about Tata, they're making an OSAT plant, they're getting into defense, they're making iPhones with Tata Electronics, right? Look at focus, look at the companies who are only launching paints and hardware and cable and that. Nothing against them.
Yeah.
But I'm saying see the capex, right? And I think if that capex is focused and create a huge profit pool, I think those are the groups you want to be in.
Understood. So, sir, tomorrow, if I give you like a corpus of 10 lakh rupees, so how would you allocate it? Which asset class? Which sectors?
So I think I'll be 70% equity
Okay.
on currently. That 70% can go in next 4 to 8 weeks,
Okay.
right? Maybe 25% upfront and balance spread over few weeks, because I would want the earnings to catch up in January. I think there is a meaningful upside expected in January. So maybe an 8-week, 10-week staggered deployment with 20-30% upfront is a good option. 70% equities. आप खुद रिसर्च नहीं कर सकते तो म्यूचुअल फंड करो, राइट? अगर टाइम दे सकते हो तो स्टॉक्स करो. 20%, 15-20% I'll take long dated government bonds. The GSEC today is at about 650, 660. तो अगर 50-60 पैसा भी yield कम हो गया, तो if you are running a mod duration of 8 years, so it's 8 into 0.5, 0.6, which means you can make 4, 5, 6% as mark to market gain in next 12 months. And the coupon is 6.5. So you actually can make 10-12% in a long dated bond. Volatile रहेगा वो, but if you are patient enough, you may be able to make that. And that is also your dry powder in case you get any corrections. You can shift that money here. And some allocation in gold and China.
So, what are some other narratives in the market that you want to be away from right now?
I think US tech, I think मुझे bubble may not be the right word, but बहुत stretched evaluation.
Understood.
See, Nvidia is $5 trillion. It is 15% of US GDP. I mean, थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो रहा है.
Only two.
See, the only thing is the balance sheets are good. They have a lot of cash. They're making real profits. .com bubble में वो नहीं था, वो नाम ही था .com. Profits नहीं थे. तो मुझे I don't know, meltdown नहीं लगता है. But मुझे लगता है कि correction आएगा और फिर बहुत टाइम तो कुछ होगा नहीं.
Okay.
See, their market cap is now 230% to GDP. Oh, that's insane. So some point of time,
it has to rationalize.
World market cap I think 110, 150 है, US उसका 70% है.
Yeah.
तो I think ये over ownership जो है US tech की, उसमें भी जो big seven है, I think that is going to mean revert. You may see some price correction, more time correction, but I don't think so incrementally will make a lot of money there. So that is one thing I'll be very careful about. Second, I'm a little worried about crypto.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what is the eventual game plan, you know, because whether they are using it to reduce debt, whether... So these two things I'll be extremely careful. और third, in terms of going overboard on gold. अभी सबको gold 40-50% करना है portfolio. तो asset allocation मत भूलो. Right? Asset allocation बोलता है 5-10% to gold and hedging, and so stick to that. I think that will help you over the course of time.
Got it. So now we'll do a quick rapid fire round.
Done.
So, okay, I'll ask you. So let's start. So what is one stock that you think will surprise everyone in 2026? Can be negative or positive.
I think auto can surprise. As a theme, auto can surprise because and consumer appliances.
Okay.
बहुत तगड़ी sale हो रही है. I mean, people will not realize how good the numbers are till the time they see the numbers. Cars, अच्छे model cars के stock out हो गए हैं. Transport तक short है. The trucks are in short demand, right? छोटी जगह में one of my friend runs a Toyota showroom in a village near Raipur. I mean, he sold some 52 Fortuners in a month.
Wow.
She's saying कि 4-5 लाख रुपए का फर्क पड़ गया. You know, this is Fortuner, which is like 50 lakh per car, right?
Yeah.
तो मुझे लगता है auto and appliances. In fact, AC के sale अच्छा नहीं हुआ था because of floods and all. वो भी inventory साफ हो गया अभी festive season में. So I think appliance makers, automakers, I mean, can surprise. Maybe later part of the year, IT can surprise. We सबने IT को write off कर दिया है.
Okay.
You know, and we should not write obituaries on Indian IT companies. You know, इन्होंने cloud देखा है, इन्होंने Y2K देखा है, you know, सब कुछ देखा हुआ है. Every 5-10 years एक narrative आता है कि you know, एक AI का एक part आएगा implementation का. अभी AI का hardware infrastructure part है. एक stage आएगी, आप हमें से कितनों को ChatGPT use करना आता है ठीक से.
True.
If I'm a radiologist, I'm a doctor. Do you think I know how to use AI being a doctor? So I think once the implementation part comes, once the service part comes, when the learning part comes, I think you can't avoid, and India has a huge talent pool. ये जो हमारे STEM engineers है ना, science, engineering, telecom, I think this will. So I have a feeling at some point of time, some of the IT companies who make that shift, mid-cap IT शायद easy होगा करना, बड़ी IT company can surprise you.
Understood. Understood, sir. So the next question is PSU or private companies, who will win the next decade?
Both. They are very good PSUs. They are very good private banks.
Okay.
I like Bharat Electronics. I think it's a beautiful company. I mean, whenever you get time, you see the technology framework Defense Ministry has launched. I mean, most of the parts the government wants to procure are electronic components, radars, systems, subsystems. And I think Bharat Electronics is really coming up the curve. Look at some of the PSU banks, the way they have turned around. Look at how SBI has turned around. Just see the YONO app. Whenever you get a time, just download the YONO app. You will find the difference in. Actually, all PSUs are not bad. I think majority of them are still bad, but I think the select PSUs will still do well. And I think in terms of ratio, maybe 80-20.
Got it. All right. So the AI bubble, is it real or is it a hype?
I think it's not bubble, but I think there's a lot of hype. And I think sometimes when there is hype, you end up over allocating capital there. I mean, trillions of dollars of capex is happening in that space. Whether it will yield profits to that extent, I'm not sure. See, sometimes some things may be very good for consumers, may not be very good for in terms of profit pool. So I'll be a little worried. I would stay away from, as I said, at least the US tech, at least for some time.
Understood. You've already spoken about this, but a little bit more on crypto in Indian portfolios, yes or no?
Avoid.
Okay.
See, I have one very clear rule. Anything I don't understand, I don't invest. You will not find me investing too many in chemical companies, hard engineering companies. मेरे को समझता ही नहीं है ज़्यादा. जो नहीं समझ में आता है, and you have to get your 20-30 ideas. सब कुछ नहीं लेना है.
Okay.
So if you understand, I mean, you understand how blockchain works, how crypto works. मेरे को नहीं समझ में आता है. मुझे कुछ underlying fundamental value नहीं लगती है उसमें. I could be wrong on this completely. Maybe I'm old school. I still believe in cash flows. एक asset में एक underlying होना चाहिए, earning होनी चाहिए, dividend होना चाहिए. अब जैसे आप fixed deposit करते हो तो interest आता है ना. आप equity लेते हो तो dividend आता है, capitalization आता है, company काम कर रही है. मुझे उसमें कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है क्या करना है. Just because you are decentralizing it, and I've never been able to understand. Maybe it's lack of knowledge on my part.
Okay. And markets in 2026, will they go up, down, or sideways?
No one knows.
Okay.
And there is a saying that majority people don't know that they don't know.
Okay.
So I think guess करने का फायदा नहीं है, क्योंकि I mean मुझे एक दिन भी पता लग जाए market क्या करने वाला है.
Yeah.
Trust me, I be the richest person in India, right? But I can sense that market is consolidated, and I think 26 will be far better than 2025. That much I can sense. How much better I can't say.
Okay.
But हर बार market ना higher low और higher high बनाता है.
Yeah.
तो ये trend मैं पिछले 20 साल से देख रहा हूँ. तो I'll not be surprised if we make new highs next year. But how much I have very little clue.
So my
but much better than this year. Yeah.
Okay. So my last question. You also talk about how you go to Omaha every year. So what is one big lesson that you've learned from like attending those calls?
I think एक चीज जो बहुत he starts the session by one of the richest investors in the world, one of the most intelligent investors in the world. He talks about his mistakes.
Okay.
He starts the session talking about the mistakes he's done in the past, so that others can learn. And so I think that is the humility of the guy, right? And I think big investors, people who have done well in life, they have this ability to accept mistakes. You cannot get everything right. Everybody goes, राकेश झुंझुनवाला से भी बहुत गलतियां हुई. उसने येस बैंक खरीदा, DHFL खरीदा, right? मेरे से बहुत गलतियां हुई. But you have to understand this is part of the curve. विराट कोहली 0 पे आउट होने से खराब बैट्समैन नहीं हो जाता. I mean, you will get your bad days.
Yeah.
Investing is also like that. You know, even in your career, you'll have a bad period. एक appraisal खराब आ जाएगा. In school or college, you'll have one bad exam or a bad grade. Same with this investing. Do not judge yourself too early. Give yourself. I think the trajectory is important. I think one learning I get from there is the trajectory.
Got it.
It's that trajectory. See, Warren Buffett is not the most. He's not made the highest returns. He's made the most consistent returns. Right? And I think consistency over intelligence, turning up every day, discipline, I think those things you learn anyway. And at 93, you know, he talks about long term. I mean, he talks about, and look at the frugal lifestyle he has, right? So many things to learn.
Yeah, understood. Thank you so much for doing this with us. We've learned a lot of things, and we hope our audience also
I'm sure.
learns a lot of things
Yeah,
from this.
I'm sure.
Thank you so much for
Thank
speaking
you.
with us.
Pleasure.
Sir.
Pleasure. Thank you.